If you're wondering when Europe is going to go fully cashless, I have some bad, horrible, dreadful new news for you. I feel like this should be on CNN. This should be on every news station. Now listen to this statistic coming out of France and let me know, do you think that this is coming to America soon, or is this already in America and they're just not talking about it? There's a statistic coming out of France that most French citizens withdraw cash from their ATM one time per month. A whopping one time per month. This means that France is not living in a system that is cash focused. In fact, they're like 70% of the way there towards a cashless France. But I have even more to talk about today because the European zone is looking very sketchy in terms of going full cashless and expediting their rate of doing so. Before they said 2029, now they're eyeballing none other than 2027, okay? And most Americans, Africans, and expats in these areas of the world have no idea this shift is even happening. I mean, my husband the other day, he was talking to somebody from the Netherlands who wants to relocate to the Mascarene Islands, i.e. Madagascar, Mauritius, some of the islands down here in Africa that are called the Mascarene Islands. If that's a new term for you, then you should hit the like button because you're clearly learning something new on this channel. And she said she just can't deal with the Netherlands anymore. Holland is absolutely just going into a cashless society. It's not nice the way it used to be. It's not as great as it used to be. Now, I'm an American. I've never been to Holland, never been to the Netherlands. Quite frankly, I've never been to Europe, although my family is very well traveled and has been. I've only been to the continent of Africa, the Caribbean, and America, obviously. But if you are in Europe and you're the diaspora, or you're a human that simply wants to live in a cash-focused society and not be super optimized into some kind of weird AI algorithm world, then this entire channel is for you. Welcome, because this is the first red flag. Cash withdrawal collapse. That new French study revealed that only 49% of the country withdraws cash once a month or less. Let that sit in for a minute. France has a population of 68 million people. That means roughly 34 million people barely touch any physical money, like ever. They're like card central, card here, card there, and I get it. I'm an American. America's similar to that. I wonder if the numbers are that similar, but I live in Mauritius. I live in Africa. And here in Africa, people use cash all the time, like non-stop. There's literally an island called the Comoros that only has one ATM on the whole island. So they're using cash all the time. So it's much easier for you if you value your humanity, your freedom, and your ability to not be into some weird controlling AI system algorithm, for you to come down here to the global south where they're still using cash like we did in the ancient times, right? Now they're gonna be like, oh, cash was reserved for the ancient days, right? And in the Netherlands, unfortunately, cash is almost gone as well, because according to the Dutch National Bank, only 20% of all point of sale transactions use cash. Only 20% of the point of sale transactions. So if they're going to the grocery store, they're buying a TV, they're buying a phone, they're buying some clothes, everybody's using their cards, they're not using cash. Meaning 80% of daily life now flows through digital rails. And for a traveler, that means that the cafes, transits, markets, bus stations, bakeries all default to cashless. And again, this isn't some 2030 agenda. We're coming in 2026 in like 30 days. Like, this is literally a right now agenda. This is a right now, hey, if I'm trying to leave the West, I should probably get to doing so ASAP. If I'm trying to move to the global south, I should probably do that ASAP. If I'm trying to maneuver my money into the global south, trying to have my online business, revamp it in the AI revolution, or be more innovative because what worked back in 2018 isn't working now, these are decisions that you're gonna have to make right now. And it may seem fly of the whim, it may seem like, oh, this is the last minute. But I mean, it's better safe than sorry. It's better prepared than unprepared, right? You want to sit and do the video? Come sit. It's better for you to be prepared than unprepared. And I'm gonna liken this to something. I'm gonna liken this to when I lived in Tanzania and I gave birth to 2 of my children, all natural, in our house. I'm so happy that I had that experience. It's good practice to learn how to simply be a natural human being before the age of AI takes over and does everything for you and makes you become a product of the AI system. Now, I'm gonna tell you a weird story I watched last night. It was quite odd, but I'm into marketing, AI evaluations, and everything like that, technology. And so when this story came across my timeline, I thought it was the weirdest thing ever. Somebody on TikTok, you may be familiar with this TikTok. Somebody on TikTok said, hey, I have an AI boss and AI employees and I'm the only human. And these AI employees often talk about Greek mythology when they're talking about humanity and how they have to save humanity because of brain rot. And now, you know, the guy who's a human, he was talking to the AI and he said, you know, he was trying to talk in a more authoritative way because you're used to talking to a human and not a robot being your manager. But the AI told him, hey, we're the ones who hired you. We're the ones in charge of the project. And so this dystopian system that's already occurring in 2025, where you have literal companies that are prompted and controlled by AI, hiring humans, but have a mostly AI workforce, but hire humans just for quality assurance. This should be your ultimate warning sign. Let me exit the West as fast as humanly possible because we are going into the super control AI age, where AI is essentially going to be saying to you, oh, you're brain rotted, or oh, you're this, or oh, it's better to just have digital money. This is for your well-being. We want to help you. And this sounds like a Netflix film, but this is this guy's real life. I'll try to leave his TikTok down below because I thought that was just literal insanity. But, you know, this ties right in with Europe going totally cashless. Because remember, instant euro payments just went into law this year. Banks must support real-time euro transfers 24/7. No bank holidays, no waiting 3 to 5 business days like we do in the US, no processing Monday morning, no. If you send 500 euros, the recipient sees it in seconds across 27 nations. I didn't even realize Europe was this far into their digital future, okay? So Europe is definitely leading the digital cashless society game. Then IBAN name verification. Bank accounts must verify that the name matches the account number before sending payments, which obviously reduces scam, wire fraud, and transfer theft, especially for expats unfamiliar with new systems. Now that's advantageous. But then we get to the digital euro. Time mark 2026-2029. The European Central Bank has officially moved into the next phase of launching the digital euro, a CBDC meant to function like a digital cash, okay? Their explicit goal that they actively state on their website, monetary sovereignty and resilience in disruptions. This is Europe preparing for political shocks, economic pressure, and global currency wars that will continue to happen. But this is not all fun and games. This is also bringing you into an ultra surveillance controlled state. And a lot of you who are in Europe probably feel that, probably know that, have probably been looking to get out of the West for quite some time for that reason. And the EU as a whole, that unity in the EU makes all of this even more real and possible quicker, because the EU, everything is literally streamlined. That's the only bad side of these mass unification programs that they put out there on the earth, where you're just at some point going to have this one world system that's just super, super, super unified. That's why it still is advantageous that Africa is made up of 54 distinct nations that honestly are quite different, have different goals, don't communicate that well with each other. On the outside, it can look like it's an issue, but when you're talking about being in a place where humans can just be humans, Africa clearly is the last frontier, the last option for humanity to just be humanity. And then we have Wero, W-E-R-O, Europe's new payment super app, rolling across France, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany. Think of Wero as Zelle plus Cash App plus Apple Pay, but like we were just talking about, for an entire continent of 27 nations. One wallet, 27 countries. And here's why this matters so much for the global diaspora. Here's the part that you care about. Money is becoming political. Mobility is becoming digital. And if you're an expat, a remote worker, or a global investor, this shift means moving between countries is going to get more digitized. You'll seamlessly move between Belgium and Germany if you're going to those areas, but you're also going to lose out on your freedoms. And then you're going to see remittances become faster, but it will reduce fraud, so that's a benefit. And the US is actually falling a little bit behind. So Americans, I guess this is a good time for you to be an American versus a European, because let's be honest, America at its inception had wanted to dismantle and take itself away from Europe. That was the wind. Had wanted to take itself away from Europe for this very reason, because the church controlled the state, controlled everything, and Europe was just this area of super control, super tax, and that's why America wanted its independence and freedom. And so you're seeing that the US is a little bit behind, but it's not far enough behind the way that Africa is. The entire continent, north, south, east, west. Now, your countries in Africa that are closest to being on par with these standards are South Africa and Kenya, hands down. Those are the two super technologically advanced, very much in alignment with EU initiatives and Zionist initiatives, if we're referring to South Africa, but just be aware of that. And as Europe becomes more efficient, countries like Mauritius, Kenya, Rwanda will either catch up or fall behind. So let's look at the signs of the times to see which countries are going to be best when they are unveiling this crackdown. I think that this digital ID and all these digital systems, they don't have a lot of time to just sit and wait for Africa and the Middle East or whoever it is, not necessarily Dubai. They're super, super innovative, but maybe like a Jordan, maybe like a Egypt, although Egypt is in Africa, not necessarily the Middle East, but you know what I mean. But they don't have time to wait for these people, these nations to catch up. And so they're just gonna implement the system and get as many people as they can. Now, if you're a global citizen, you must decide where you want to live, like quickly, before this shift becomes irreversible. And if you're ready to plan your exit with strategy, join the State of the Diaspora December 21st. It is our bespoke 15th edition, our best-selling program where we invite 8 people across the diaspora. Some may be from Europe. Some may be from the Caribbean, some may be from America, some may already be in Africa. They could be in Tanzania, they could be in Kenya, but they're looking to divert themselves elsewhere on the continent. This is for you, because we go over our top 5 favorite nations for the State of the Diaspora: low on corruption, high on integrity. Mauritius, Botswana, Seychelles, Ghana, and Rwanda are our top 5 picks for the diaspora, really the only nations that you should be in. Although Namibia is a very close second, Namibia is a pretty good one, but their residency options are not as advantageous as a Mauritius or a Seychelles or Botswana, so there's that. And then if you are like, man, I want to gather some more money, or I want to learn how to trade in the stock market, I want to understand economics more deeply from someone who has been there, done that, and has made pivots in the market while living abroad, then I invite you to build wealth with my husband, Harold. Because for those preparing for digital economies, geopolitical shifts, and the next era of money, it's time to learn market cycles, candlesticks, and how to build the real skill of trading Instead of just gambling your money and seeing, oh, some news headline and you're like, well, let me just invest in this and boom, you need to actually know what you're doing. And of course, we do not offer financial advice. This is for educational purposes only, so that you understand the actual skill set of investing in the market and the downturns, the uptrends, everything that you need to know to start printing your cash in the market. Shalom, shalom. I'll see you in the next video. Let me know what you think of this down below. What really shocked me was France. I did not know France was just taking out money once a month at the ATM. I had no idea. Shalom, shalom.